When considering a tax-sheltered savings plan, very often we're presented with a debate whether a tax-free savings account is going to be better than a registered retirement savings plan. Money invested in a tax-sheltered environment is always going to grow much more rapidly than an investment outside of the tax shelter. As with any tax-sheltered environment, taxes will eventually have to be paid. The question is when you're going to do so. Investing money is really a way to be able to plan for something further down the road. Investing money into the RRSP or the tax-free savings account looks pretty much the same. We can invest in stocks, bonds, or even segregated funds. The biggest difference between the RRSP and the tax-free savings account is when we pay our taxes. With the RRSP, we only pay taxes when we make a withdrawal. With the tax-free savings account, we're using money that has already been subject to taxes. For most of us, we spend our time working away at a job that we enjoy, but we're dreaming about the things that we wish to do in retirement or maybe just a little further down the road. But when it comes to investing, and the idea of setting up different accounts and managing those accounts, it can become very confusing. So let's begin to take the confusion out of it. Looking at the RSP and the contribution and withdrawal times within a person's lifetime, contributions into the RRSP can be made as soon as you start to declare income. Contributions can continue to be made until the end of the year in which you turn 71. Ideally, withdrawals would begin just at retirement when you're in a lower tax bracket and would end in the year in which you turn 71. At that time, if there's any money left inside the RSP has to be collapsed into a RIF, turned into a life annuity, or withdrawn as cash. The RSP has two other avenues which you can make tax-free withdrawals. One, for educational purposes for either you or your spouse, or two, if you're a new home buyer, you can withdraw money from your RSP and use that money towards the purchase of your new home. Now when we take a look at the tax-free savings account, contributions can begin to be made as soon as you turn 18, and you don't have to be declaring an income at the time in order to make that contribution. Different than with the RRSP, the tax-free savings account does not have an age where you have to terminate the plan. Any money inside of the tax-free savings account is immediately accessible without penalty, and no taxes will be paid on any withdrawal. So now let's take a moment to examine exactly how the tax consequences can affect the underlying investment. So in this scenario, we're making a one-time contribution of $5,500, and we're investing it at 8% over the course of 25 years. We're making the contribution when we're in a high tax bracket and withdrawing that money when we're in a low tax bracket. If we decide to take the tax rebate that we get at the end of the year and reinvest it back into the RRSP is going to have the advantage by $4,600. If we take the same scenario, but instead of investing the money and do what most people do, and that is take the tax rebate and spend it on something that the family needs or something fun like a trip, we can see that the tax-free savings account has the advantage of over $11,000. So that's how it looks when we make contributions and withdrawals when we're in two different tax brackets. But if we change our situation where we're making our contributions in a high tax bracket and also making the withdrawals while we're in a high tax bracket, we can see that there's really no advantage to the RRSP. Deciding which registered account you're going to invest through really depends on what tax bracket you're making the contributions in and what your tax bracket's going to be when you make a withdrawal. So the three most common scenarios that we're going to run into as far as tax brackets and contributions is making contributions when we're in a high tax bracket and withdrawing while we're still in a high tax bracket, or making contributions when we're in a high tax bracket and then making withdrawals when we're in a lower tax bracket, and third, making contributions when we're in a low tax bracket and withdrawals while we're still in the same low tax bracket. It becomes quite clear which is the winner of the two registered accounts for each scenario. So some key points regarding the RRSP. All your contributions are tax deductible and you'll get a tax rebate. Contributions are based on 18% of your income up to a maximum of just over $23,000 per year. RSPs can be started as soon as you're earning income, but they also have to terminate at age 71. They're designed primarily to be used in retirement. The Home Buyer's Plan allows you to take up to $25,000 from your RSP tax-free, but has to be paid back within 15 years, and payments have to start within 2 years after you've made the withdrawal. The Lifelong Learning Plan is available to you and your spouse, not your children, and you can use up to $20,000 from your RSPs, but it too must be paid back within 10 years, starting the second year after you're no longer a full-time student. Withdrawals from your RSP creates a terminal loss of contribution room, meaning you can't recontribute that same amount. Withdrawals are considered to be income and are added to your income for that year and taxed appropriately. This can, in retirement, reduce any old age security pension that you might be receiving. Key points to keep in mind regarding the tax-free savings account: deposits are not tax deductible, but any growth inside the tax-free savings account is non-taxable. Contributions to a tax-free savings account can start as soon as you turn 18, and the plan does not have a termination date. Annual contribution amounts are set at $5,500 per year. So if you don't have a tax-free savings account currently, you can contribute up to $31,000. Assets in the investment can be used as collateral against loans. Withdrawals from a tax-free savings account can be made at any time. It doesn't have to be set aside until retirement. Any withdrawal creates a contribution room the following year. A withdrawal from your tax-free savings account is not considered to be income, and so it won't affect your old age security pension. It's also ideal for investing when you expect to retire with a high income tax bracket. For more information regarding how to make use of your RRSP or tax-free savings account, please contact your licensed financial advisor or contact us at patentfinancialservices.com.